Hey, brave adventurer— Whoa! When did that number get over 100? Well, hi there, all you newcomers. I guess this means I'm gonna have to keep some promises I made, huh? Stick around until the end of the video, and I'll tell you all about what I'm going to do, plus some ideas I have going forward. I'm really thrilled to have you all here listening to a purple fox tell you silly stories in the woods. Might have to make a bonfire at this point. Just don't burn the forest down, okay? Today, another story from a personal friend of mine about a man who really should have listened to Smokey the Bear a little bit better as a child. There's a forest fire, a lot of death, and some lessons learned, so let's get right into it. This was an old D&D 5e game. I was playing an elf fae warlock named Niall. The rest of the party was 2 dragonborn, one was a fighter and the other a paladin, and an elf shadow cleric. I'll just refer to them all by class name going forward. We were riding in a cart, heading toward somewhere, though I can't remember where, when we got attacked by a party of orcs and goblins. We managed to fight them off, but enough of them got away and had kidnapped the cart driver. We decided to chase off after them because of that, and we also suspected they had taken other slaves captive. After a bit, we found their camp. It was a pretty simple camp, and the only thing I remember well was that there were a few slaves and some lit braziers to give light. The cleric and I decided to stealth ahead while the fighter and paladin stayed behind, as we had much better stealth bonuses. Everything was going fine until the cleric poked their head into the leader's tent and was spotted. So a fight broke out, with both of the tanks on the complete other side of the camp. During the chaos, the fighter heard some noise in a tent he was next to, and had the brilliant idea to push over a brazier to try to set the tent on fire. Which worked! We now had an on-fire tent. The fight was going reasonably well, we were actually winning. There was a big problem, though. The tent fire was starting to spread, since there were trees right next to it. Then the worst happened. The paladin got critted and went down, falling unconscious in one of the spaces next to the fire. If it continued to spread like it had been, he would be fully in the fire. The DM was rolling every round to see if and where the fire would spread, and she happened to roll that it spread into the paladin's square. So he was now taking fire damage too. The fighter had moved off to engage the boss a ways away, and at that point my 6th strength warlock was the only person near the paladin. I tried a medicine check. Fail. The DM let me try to roll him out of the fire with my movement, but my strength wasn't high enough to move him on its own, so I made a strength check. Fail. Now, at this point, the fire was quickly turning into a full-blown wildfire. It spread all the way over to the fighter's square where he was engaged with the boss, and he didn't move. It brought both him and the boss down together. Neither the cleric nor I could conjure water, and there was no source nearby we could use to put the fire out, so we tried to lift the paladin together in a last-ditch effort to save him. The cleric rolled a nat 1 on the strength check, and I got something like a 3 in total, so that definitely wasn't happening. In order to try to save him, the cleric had moved into the fire as well. This resulted in her also going down, leaving me the only conscious person and completely unable to do anything about the fires. Without any better options, I ran away. So we pretty reasonably called it a TPK, since my warlock was the only one alive, and absolutely couldn't do anything. We did keep the campaign going in the same world, and the great forest fire that we caused became a semi-important plot point later on. Now I want to stress that this wasn't the DM being rude. She warned the fighter before he pushed over the brazier that it was an unprotected flame right next to a bunch of trees in the middle of a forest with no water around. His response was basically, "Yeah, but this takes out 2 of the 5 orcs we know about." I made a new character along with everyone else in the party, as it wouldn't make much sense for my warlock to be meeting up with a new group of people. A Triton cleric this time, with at least 2 ways of always being able to create water, just in case of more forest fires. Oh, that was a fun one. Thank you to my friend who knows who she is for sending me this story. I don't think anyone is particularly at fault for what happened, though obviously the fighter should have probably thought things through a little more. Of course, then he wouldn't really be a fighter, would he? Honestly, just a pretty funny story about how the worst laid plans are often just that. That, and it's generally a really good idea to have someone who can deal with fires. Create Water is a surprisingly useful spell. I'm surprised by how few people take it. Alright, now for some channel stuff. I've been floating around the idea of a community Discord server, and now it's been practically demanded by getting me to 100 subscribers. So if you look in the description, you'll see it there. Go ahead and join in, roll around in the grass, and have fun in the fox den. I can't wait to talk to you all. In some other news, I had an idea that struck me, mostly because of my time in quarantine playing almost exclusively online using Roll20. I've had a lot of players who haven't really known how to navigate all the things that Roll20 has on offer, so I was thinking of doing a series of tutorial videos on how to use the platform, from both a player and DM perspective, just to help your online games go a little bit smoother. If that's something you would be interested in, just let me know. If you'd rather I just keep to telling the stories, that's fine too. But whatever the case, don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and hit the bell notification icon if you want to be notified when I upload a video. Until then, let's douse the fire and get back to our own adventures.